I mean, do you think that you've been able to really articulate your position? And do you think that you've been able to get out and meet the people of this district? Or do you think that that's something that is a weakness?
It's a very good question. And I think it's a good question because it really does draw a distinction between our candidacy and the candidacy of the other two people that you mentioned. We do have a candidate that is pretty far to the left, and we have another candidate that was really nurtured in the crucible of right-wing, far right-wing politics in this country. So yes, I think when you can rally a given base, there's a kind of built-in crowd for that. I think our candidacy is more nuanced, and I think we are successfully reaching a lot of people from a lot of different political orientations, and I'm really proud of that. And I think you saw that tonight. There were Republicans here, there were Democrats here. I don't know that there were Greens, but I would imagine.
Before we kind of talked a little bit about some ideas that you had for economic development in this area. And one of the things that we talked about was outdoor, kind of capitalizing on the outdoor resources that we have here and trying to bring some manufacturing.
For sure.
Have you been able to gain any traction on that?
Yes.
What's going on with that right now?
Well, I've reached out to representatives of the outdoor industries. I've also talked to labor about what kinds of workforce we might want for some of those, carbon fiber as a material we see a lot in recreational gear, and the markup on that equipment is really huge. For me, this is one of many kinds of opportunities that when you take a step back and you look at all the assets and resources we have, it's a promising opportunity. I'm really awed by the great Adirondack Park every time I have to drive across the district to meet some more people. I get to see once again a powerful reminder of this amazing environment that we live in. But I think that environment will be particularly amazing if we can learn to make it an economic driver and not an impediment to growth. One of those ways is promoting sustainable tourism initiatives. Another way is biomass and forestry. And another way is looking at how can we revitalize manufacturing. The things we manufacture in this district in the upcoming decades may not be the things that we manufactured 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. But I think one of the most sober and realistic and optimistic things we can do is to really look at the assets we have and kind of think outside the box about how we can build economies around them. None of that, of course, works without infrastructure investment.
Right.
I wrote a piece for the Watertown Times the other day, a letter that you were good enough to publish, that really it's important to remind, I think, all of us how high the stakes are when we fail to think long-term and we fail to invest in our infrastructure.
Sure. So we saw some very distant parties take a keen interest in the primary race. American Crossroads dumped $800,000. All told, there's probably about $1.2 million of outside money spent on the race, and you talked a little bit about that tonight. You guys are, I think, probably preparing for something like that to happen, or anticipating an onslaught of negative advertising, perhaps. What can you do? And obviously, we talked to some stuff came out about your personal assets. I think that people are going to start using that against you. How do you counterattack that, or how do you counter for that?
I think this is going to sound a little like a political cliche, but I think the best way you can prepare for any of this is to really focus on your own goals, to focus on building support in events like this, to focus on the issues are resonating with people. It's not really my place to be a political prognosticator. I think it's my place to build support for the issues we think are resonating.
So focus on your campaign and issues that. And last question, I think there was an email that you guys put out maybe a couple of days ago. There's 100 days left in the election, right? So
You see me like take a deep inhale.
yeah. So
Yes.
what's the battle plan from now till November?
You know, I'm going to give you the same kind of answer. The battle plan is really to do what we've been doing, build up as much as we can of resources. I think one thing that I feel really strongly about in terms of, you know, strategy is this is not about we're going to go to one part of the district as opposed to another, or we're going to win here but concede here. This is all about reaching as many voters as we can, and bringing the issues as we see them to as many places as we can in the district.